going on, guys? Not in a good mood. I got in an argument today, and I just want to kind of vent on this a little bit, okay? Now, I'm going to pre-qualify this. The nurses and doctors and the emergency workers, I always love them. I always got their support, so this does not apply to every person. I know somehow it's going to get blown up in my face, but I'm going to just speak the truth, if you will. Just because you're a nurse does not give you an ultimate expertise or an ultimate authority pass on all things medical. Look, just because you are in the medical field doesn't automatically qualify you as an expert in all things medical. I am getting tired of hearing or seeing a nurse chime in a conversation and says, as a health care professional, I X, Y, and Z. And then you turn out, you go and find out that their field, their specific field, has nothing to do with the topic. I'll give you, for instance, I know this oncology doctor who likes to chime in, or nurse, and she likes to chime in about everything medical under the sun, right? Now, I know she's got high training and stuff, but her expertise is in oncology. But anytime there's any kind of medical discussion, she just throws the full weight of her knowledge like we're a bunch of dumbasses. And it's just not fair, and nobody's ever going to call her out on it because you don't want to, because you're not a nurse, you have nothing to say. Well, I do have things to say about things that I've researched. You don't have to be a nurse to know how to do, first aid. You don't have to be a nurse to know how to do CPR, right? I have prior experience doing tracheotomies and other ALS things, so I have some knowledge, right? And if I have something, if I'm taking a medicine or if I have a sickness, I may have knowledge that I've acquired and obtained through research and speaking to doctors, right? So I may have, and all the information is learnable, right? They're pulling it out of a book too. So for you to just say right off the bat, now if we're in a hospital, it's a totally different story. If I'm in a hospital talking to a nurse, it's probably a good idea to listen to them, right? If I go there with some sort of pain and I don't know what the hell is going on, I'm going to trust in that authority. But that authority doesn't always extend to every piece of medical advice out there. So I'll put it on myself a little bit. Okay, watch this. I was in the Army, okay? That's cool. So here's the thing. When I was in the Army, I worked in a medical division, and I taught ALS to infantry soldiers. I taught them how to do tourniquets, how to do injections, IVs. I distributed medicine, right? And I worked the sick call, okay? That's cool. All right, that's a great thing I did. I learned a lot, and I was helpful to the cause. But I got a buddy who I'm pretty sure was toe-to-toe with al-Baghdadi last week or last month. If shit goes down, who you gonna trust? You want me speaking up going, hey, I was in the Army? No, right? Same thing. I was an EMT. I was an EMT for 4 years after that. But I ran transport, right? Yeah, I had bad days. Transport is like scheduled appointments, and so I took people to dialysis or cancer treatment or to doctor's appointments, things like that. And it was, most of the time it was scheduled. Now, was I doing a good thing? Yeah, and because I liked helping people, and people were doing it or doing, they're doing God's work, right? But I wasn't working in fucking Newark, where every other victim was a gunshot victim or a stab wound or some weird crazy shit, one thing after another, right? So when shit goes down, you want to talk to me, or you want to talk to the guy who's been in the fray for 10 years? The guy who's all tweaked out and just, or some guy who constantly is administering medicine and constantly dealing with the worst case scenario, right? There's different tiers of expertise that you can't ignore that. Same thing. I was a firefighter. I was a volunteer firefighter. I had a couple big fires, and I did a lot of training. And I was honestly physically ready for anything. But I worked in a small town with 2 fire departments. There was nothing. There were no high buildings. There was nothing crazy, right? Now, I was a firefighter, but if there's a fire and there's a guy standing next to me who's an NYFD, 15-year vet, who goes on multiple fires every day, who you gonna trust, right? Or just whose expertise matters more? There's a different tier. I'm a musician, right? I got a couple CDs, I play a lot of instruments, but I ain't fucking Beyonce, right? Why do we throw this out the thing? It is so annoying for people to go, well, listen, hey, I'm a nurse, so I know this. It's like, if you know it, you know it. But there are different fields. It's like the Army, right? You go to basic training, and everybody learns how to shoot a gun, kill a guy with his bare hands, and march, right? Basically. And then from there you go into your specific field. Like I went to be a medic. Some people go, right? I went to be a medic. Some people go infantry. Some people go and work on Patriot missiles. There's a spectrum. And some people are private first class, and some people end up being generals. And there's a reason for that, right? So just to wrap it up, just to finish the point, if you're not a nurse in the COVID unit in New York City, don't talk to me about how the COVID unit is in New York City and tell me that, fuck it. Listen, even if you are a nurse in the COVID-19 thing, full respect to this, you are in the worst place in the world. Just so you know, though, it's not like that anywhere else. You're in a shitty situation, and you are a hero, and you're doing things that most of us can't do, wouldn't be up for the task for. But it does not give you an authority to say that because your specific room, your specific hospital is crowded in the busiest, most densely populated city in the world, that means that in Wyoming or Colorado or is the same thing, right? It just isn't. So take a breath. All right, so I'll see if I actually do run that. Another thing I'm running into here with okay, we'll see if I run that. So here's another thing I'm having. This is a time when you can see the sheep people are so held on to their beliefs that they won't even look on the other side of the fence, right? They're scared into the pack. And we're free from the pack, right? And we're saying, hey, other sheep, come on over here. There's a lot of cool stuff. There's a lot of green grass over here, right? And the sheep, these scared people are saying, no. The dog, the master and the dog say, I need to stay right here. This is where the green grass is. They're too afraid to even look. They don't even pick up their heads. That's a scary place to live. How do you ever gain perspective if you don't look? Right? What is so scary? How are they so scared into believing and obeying so hard that they won't even look in a different direction? That's crazy. That's dangerous. Here's the thing. If you're into the mainstream media, that's fine. Okay? But I challenge you to just come over and look. Read an article. Watch a video. Talk to somebody who's done it and have a conversation. You can't just blindly put your head down and say, I know it's right, I know it's right, I know it's right. That's insanity. Okay? And here's the other thing. They don't need you to regurgitate. They don't need you. You're so hell-bent on promoting what they're promoting. They don't need you. They got billions of dollars a month just going out there promoting their messages. They don't need you. They don't need you to verbal diarrhea their message everywhere. So I encourage you to look at the other stuff. I'm not telling you to believe it. I'm telling you to look at it. Decide for yourself. If you don't like it, they'll be waiting for you. They're not going anywhere. But don't just put your head down and say, I gotta listen to this. This is the only thing that's right. This is what I know. This is what I believe. This is true. Question your beliefs. I say question everything. Question your beliefs too. And you might just learn something. And to continue the talk with the trusting of this source of information that we've been getting our whole lives, there's got to be some of you out there who, like, maybe they, question 9/11, or they question, and that's a hard one for me. They question it, right? You don't even have to believe that it was an inside job, but you gotta be like, something's a little weird about that, right? Or, a lot of people don't believe the moon landing was real. I am leaning heavily that way because it would be pretty crazy. I'm not gonna go full bore on that, but for that to have happened in the 70s, or the 60s really, with that technology, and then a slew of other things, just, so if you're questioning the moon landing, if you're questioning, the vaccine safety, right? And get your flu shot, like that comes hand in hand with all this media propaganda. So if you're even like there with the vaccines, and you're also falling for this big coronavirus thing, and won't even question the source. How do you, right? If you suspect that there's something at play somewhere, right? If I lie to you one time, you're gonna look at me and go, "That guy's a liar," right? And I may gain your trust back over time, but you're always gonna have that in your mind that this dude lied to me, right? But with the news, it's like, how many retractions, cover-ups, lies, fake news, just fake stories, repurposing of photographs. Now, even on this, take this out of it. How do you take a source that is so wrong so many times, and you just keep going back, tell me what I need to know. Tell me what I need to know. That's madness. You should at least, just look for someone else. I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm telling you, you got nothing else going on. You're sitting home on the internet anyway. Take a time. They're cool videos. It's at least entertaining. I know when I started, they were at least entertaining videos. You learn some stuff. There's some historical things in there, and it kind of takes you back. And either way, there's truth to it that you can learn if you're into if you watch Aliens on the Discovery Channel or whatever. It's right up your alley. And then if you don't like it, you can just go back. CNN's going to be there. Fox is going to be there. Don't worry about it. But then you don't have to walk around, just knowing I'm too afraid to look in another direction. Just to see what's out there. And then you don't have to live with that anymore. And I think you'll feel better. And that way you won't be running inside every time there's a bad case of the flu going around.